Hey, good afternoon, Sustainable Filipinas. I am Rickson, and I'd like to welcome you to Sustainable HR pilot episode. You will be able to catch us every Saturday, second Saturday of every month. So let us proceed.
Yes, okay. So
So I
I guess
am Rickson, the
go ahead,
CEO
Dixon.
and President of Security Consulting, and with me is Danica and Ren. Let's start with Danica. Danica,
Oh,
can you
okay,
do
I'm
a
here.
short
So,
introduction
hi
for our
everyone.
audience?
Yes, hi everyone. To our audience, you've already seen me. So, I'm Danica, and thank you so much for being here. I'm the president and CEO of Metamorphosis Group, here to talk to you about sustainable HR. And you mostly know about Metamorphosis Group as the career coaching firm in the Philippines, helping candidates with career development needs or even existing employees figure out what the best career path is for them, best career trajectory. But here in this show, we're going to talk about sustainable HR, which by definition for sustainability is adequately meet the needs of the people today without compromising the future generations from obtaining their own needs. In every transaction that you make, in any business that you make, you get something there. But in this kind of arrangement, we have to understand and we have to share to each other how we are going to make this more sustainable, and it will eventually contribute to the future generations, future candidates, future stakeholders. That's what we're going to show here. And we're going to showcase a lot of our guests in the future episodes. We're going to feature about what sustainable practices they're doing in their company so you could get to know them better when you start doing business with them or to start collaborating with them. Am I right?
Ren?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. So, my name is Ren. I'm the Enterprise Solutions Head of Metamorphosis Group, and also one of the coaches. So, as what Danica mentioned, yeah, we're gonna talk about sustainable HR. It's not only the people inside the company. So it's a both combination of not only meeting the needs of the people, but at the same time the company itself. So we're really excited and welcome to this first episode.
So thank you, Ren. Allow me to
Okay.
share my
So,
screen. Yeah, okay. So go ahead, Danica.
yes, as I said, sustainability is actually present everywhere. What we actually believe as an organization is that sustainability is a mindset, a lifestyle. It's not just a profession. We always hear sustainability practitioner when actually everyone should be a sustainability practitioner. Whether you're a cybersecurity professional or a strategy consultant, you have to understand and adapt to the sustainability framework. And that's what our company is going to educate you in, especially in this show.
That's right, Danica.
So,
No? So
moving
and when
forward,
we talk about yeah, well, as we talk about sustainability, we would like to share now on how we apply sustainability to HR. So we've seen companies today how they compete and they try to survive to become companies of tomorrow. And as we all know, they need to apply sustainable HR, not only the mindset but strategies and frameworks when we talk about sustainable HR during the course of our webinar series. So watch out for our future episodes when we talk about other strategies and frameworks in sustainable HR. But today, we would talk about one strategy, which we call the Great Place to Work For strategy, as this as one of the sustainable strategy for your company to be still the company of the future. So, any insight on that, Ren? When we talk about a great place to work for, do you have any like if the first thing that comes to your mind when you say a great place to work for?
Well, all the always the, based on my experience, always on my mindset. I think when great place comes to work for is usually I'm always in the camp that compensation and benefits should be what do you call this is it should be equitable to the workers, to the employee. I mean if if the if the companies does do not pay like the right or correct living wages, then people will probably leave the company. So I think that I always believe that it should be a standard first when you're talking about a great place to work, and the other all areas should be will follow after. So
Okay.
I think I'm in that camp, but some people might have a different point of view.
I agree with you, Ren. It's really this the first thing that any employee would first think of. What's the compensation and benefit package? No? That's why it's the first criteria for most
Criteria.
Oh,
think of if you say this is a great place to work for, a company.
sorry, Rickson. I
Sorry,
think you lost your sound.
Yeah,
we lost you
also,
there.
yeah, Danica, if we talk about a great place to work for, what do you think is that attribute of that company?
Okay, good question. No? So we keep saying sustainability, but let's go into the real definition. No, if sustainability isn't just a buzzword, let's put it in the context of job seekers and employees. No, so great place to work, right? It just basically means all the specific needs of the people in the organization are met, and it's not just compensation and benefits. It's also meeting their goals, dreams. If they want to expand their network, provide it to them, all the other opportunities they want, you provide it in your organization, not just the compensation and benefits. They have to see your organization as something that they can build a relationship with. It's like an organization that cannot just only sustain their monetary and financial needs, but something that they can
But the
build a
overall
relationship
aspect.
with for the long run, right? It's why
Yeah.
some people can stand staying in their company for decades. It's basically because they've built a good relationship with that. And that's how you make a sustainable relationship with your candidates and employees, right? And I
Yes.
think a lot of companies already know that being sustainable, especially having sustainable HR team work, can sustain the overall, as in it can go as far as the financial health of the organization. And that's why I think that's what makes a great place to work for.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Danica. No? So to align again, no, Ren and Danica with the audience is we're saying that when we talk about sustainable HR, you have so many other strategies that you can apply to stay sustainable. But this is one of the
Yes.
strategy, which is defining your place as a great place to work for your company. So this is one of the strategies. So we now would like to share the attributes of a great place to work for, which we got from different sources like Glassdoor, greatplacetoworkfor.com, and even magazine Inc. magazine. So these are the attributes of great place to work for. And Ren has mentioned compensation benefits. That's correct.
Al-
No, that's the first
Always.
usual area that we look for. And Danica also mentioned about growth and then the experiences of people working in the organization, making it sustainable, then letting them stay longer. So the top three items or attributes are already discussed, no? But in the area of the fourth, which is culture and values, it's very interesting that we can also open about sustainable culture. Danica, what can you say about sustainable culture?
Okay, so a sustainable culture is, like I said, welcoming, actually provides needs. I mean, what people tend to forget already is that the entire point of doing business is so that we could provide value, solve problems, improve the quality of life in the world. I think that's what makes everything sustainable to begin with, right? All the three things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
In order to have a culture that's sustainable, you not only just take care of your clients or your investors. I know they're stakeholders, but we should also consider our employees as stakeholders in the company as well, because they actually move the company. So if you take care of them by practicing sustainable HR frameworks, then it can improve the performance of the company, eventually providing more opportunities for the people inside, not just the business.
That's right. That's right. And of course, let's now move to the expertise of Ren in terms of governance and leadership. Ren, in terms of leadership or sustainable leadership, what can you share with our viewers?
I think yeah, especially right now with the sustainability is a buzzword right now. If you were able to read the book of Simon Sinek on Leaders Eat Last, actually mentioned that there should be a change in mindset already. That you are that there's more responsibility for leaders, especially that one survey or one study that he mentioned was that employees uh, when they were surveyed, they said that 80% of them would wanted to leave companies, but only 20% will do the change. So it means that they're really dissatisfied with their own company, but they're just staying. So with that dissatisfaction leads to like stress, or which leads to probably health effects for employees. So I think as a leader, you should be aware of that statistic, that you should be really be in the terms of which was over to the previous topic, that you should be caring of your employees, should be worried about how they how they move, or how they move in their careers within the company. So at the same time, with this pandemic, it's more what is expected from them, that they're really being taken care of, and they're not being left. Especially, I heard companies that some employees were just left behind, especially they when they got infected by COVID. So it's much more right now for me.
Yeah, that's very strong, Ren. No, that spirit of care in terms of leadership, which contributes to not only sustainability but the real meaning of working and serving for a vision, which is carried by leadership. No, so I agree with you. That spirit of care, that extra care that your boss would give you, would not only improve morale. No, it goes a long way.
Yeah,
So let's now move towards work-life balance. Notice during the pandemic, our life has been messed up by, there's no. It seems that work life is that thin line is already gone. But during this pandemic, people are working at home, and it seems that they're enjoying. Some are enjoying, some are having stressful moments. But since we've already tasted telecommuting, uh, no, that area of a great place to work for is that company that would allow you to work at home, but the feeling and experience is still working with the company. So if the companies are
Yes.
able to provide capabilities and infrastructure for our workers to work at home, and having
Yes.
the right collaboration capability, like you're always in touch with your boss, like what Ren has said, you would feel that your boss would care for you because your boss can check up on you anytime. Are you doing well?
yeah.
Are you still kicking and alive? No? So I
Yes.
appreciate that attribute. No, so but on the side of recommend to a friend, a workplace that's really good is a workplace that you recommend to a friend. So when we're doing coaching, Danica, what are the usual comment of our clients when they're recommending their companies? Do they recommend their companies? Are there companies that they recommend to their friends?
Yes, there are. There are sometimes cases wherein people recommend employers to friends.
And what are the usual
benefits.
comments that they would recommend?
Yes. Yun nga, yung sinasabi nila na, oh, mag-work tayo dito, masaya dito, maganda benefits, merong billiards, may sleeping quarters kung kailangan
Table
mo.
tennis.
Some companies could actually do that, or para mag-apply ka ng job dito, bayaran nila yung Grab mo
Wow,
Grab ride, yeah.
the Grab ride.
It actually, yeah, it actually contributes to a good environment for them, right? So
Okay.
yun, some things that make practices sustainable for candidates and employees.
So what specific perk would be very attractive for you now? Like, we're in a pandemic. What specific perk or benefit would attract each one of you? Let's start with Ren.
Ah,
So for me, I think while working from home, I feel um, some employees would feel that like the Wi-Fi connection should be subsidized by the company. Not all have that have the luxury of having that internet connection, and I've experienced of some organizations having a hard time delivering because mainly because their employees or they didn't have that connection. So I think
So
that's a good perk
telecom
and
allowance,
should
no?
be encouraged for the other companies.
The telecommunications
Danica.
allowance is very
Yeah,
attractive.
telecommunication allowance.
Okay, and then Danica, how about
yes.
you?
The attractive benefit for me is, well, I wouldn't say it's a benefit that's part of the package. I would say it's a practice in the company. I think I would really love an organization. If personally, yeah, if I decide to go out into employment, I think the best benefit I could get in a company is if they allow me to work with goals rather than do time-based work. Am I right? I
Yeah,
think
Oh,
that's a
output,
good
output.
person. Yeah, personally, I think that's a better alternative. Basically, because, well, if you force people to do time based work, they're just gonna count the time. And when they're done,
Time, yeah.
okay, I'm rewarded, yay. But when you help them achieve goals, it's not just rewarding them for achieving goals, but personally, they feel fulfilled that they actually contributed to the organizational goals. I think that's what makes a sustainable practice for both the relationship of the employee and the company, because it's not only sustainable for the employee's needs but also for the company's business needs.
yes,
Yeah, I
I
think to
agree
add
with.
to what to
Yeah,
Danica
yeah. Go
mentioned,
ahead, Ren. Go
I
ahead,
think
Ren.
that is a good that there's even though some companies applied work from home, they brought the same culture from the traditional the more normal work to work from home, and they will still require people to time in, to time out. Some are
Oo
with
nga, oo nga.
cameras, some are
Very
recording.
traditional, no? Very
Yeah,
traditional.
very.
Yeah, some are
So I
looking at
think
your
that
laptop.
yeah, some are dually at the laptop
They have
or
an hour
recording.
in
You
your
need
lap.
to check in. You need
Oops.
to check in. Some people need to check in.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't feel that's a good culture, no? A culture of mistrust or a culture
Yeah,
of not being honest, so which is really a contributing factor for most if staying in their jobs or not, no. So the
Yes.
combination of work life balance of what Danica shared, no. Danica was saying that, do not put a time on me, and of course in work life balance you also don't like take home work, like, you
yeah. Think
do
more.
work even if you've gone home already. So that's why, if you're a goal-based person and you're empowered enough, I believe sustainability will go a long way with this approach, no? And then last part of our attribute of great place to work for would be strategic and business outlook. What companies, like Ren, in your experience for business to business environment, what companies would be very attractive to work for in the long run?
Um, in the
Mm,
long run,
mm.
it should be in my opinion, even post-pandemic, I feel the ones that's flexible in terms of adapting to the current environment, I think that will be a good company. So especially the ones who early pivoted to this type of culture, to type of working culture.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think that's a good company to be with because number one, they show their flexibility, and secondly, they're willing to change at a time that people will not
So
be
so
accepting.
since you mentioned that already, do you think telecommuting would stay after, when we reach the new normal? Would people still look for that telecommuting flavor of workplace? What do you think, Ren?
So to answer what our
Our
viewer was
Q&A
asking us,
already.
yes, Q&A.
Yes.
The answer
Yes.
is for me is yes. I think McKinsey already actually made a survey about in the US and the other um, the industrial countries. They mentioned that they'll be keeping the telecommuting for about maybe in the max. I think it's 3 days. That's the average. Three
Okay.
days in work and 2 plays and off. That's the average, but there will be a mix. And I feel
Yes.
as be competitive as a country, we should follow that. We should not go to back to the same
Yes.
setup of not the telecommuting. So I
So
think
you're saying we should not go back to the Stone Age.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, so
Yeah, that is what I was
Danica,
saying.
what do you think? What do you think of when we talk about a
Telecommuting.
workplace? Yeah, a
Ah,
combination workplace. I think we call it a hybrid workplace now that allows you to do telecommuting when you want it and go to office if you need to. But it's a different hybrid work arrangement. What can you say about companies in terms of them preparing for it?
okay, so sorry, I didn't catch you there. You were asking what do I think of telecommuting and how do
Now, what
people
do you think?
adjust
What
to
do you
it? Is
think
that
of
it?
companies now? Because telecommuting is there, like hybrid workplace is going to be mainstream in the future. So, what can you say about how companies should prepare for it? What tips can you give companies?
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna answer based on how I understood your question because I lost you a bit.
What do
So
you think?
what I think
What do
about
you think?
telecommuting, yeah, yeah, tips on telecommuting for
No, I mean
organizations, I guess.
tips on,
Well,
yeah, for companies how they prepare for it for their
How will
employees. How do
they?
they prepare that
how do
environment?
companies prepare telecommuting? Okay, okay. First
Environment,
of
a
all,
new
I think they
hybrid
need to
environment.
understand. Yeah, first, I think they need to understand each member in their organization. They need to understand the demographics. What are their needs? What are their profiles like? What works for them best? I think there are already existing tools in the market that can allow them to understand their organization as a whole. So using AI already to identify those needs, right? So I think that's one thing that they can do to identify their organization. Once they have identified their organization, that is the only time they can actually see if full telecommuting or a mix of work from home and work in the office is actually best. Although there have been studies already that said that most people want a mix. They don't want pure of any. Kasi kapag puro na lang working in the office, that's like a life taken from them because of the traffic. And then if it's already always work from home, there are people who complain na, oh, I just miss going to work and seeing my office mates.
I miss
They
my
miss
friends.
all of those things.
I miss my office friends.
I miss my friends. And then and then some of our clients actually said, miss ko na mag-work sa office, wala pa akong jowa.
So it's very
kasi,
very difficult to when you say employee experience, when you say work experience, it's not really the experience of how many years you have been working. It's really how you define your work environment and what you have experienced while working for these companies. No, so I think what you have shared,
Yes.
both of you, would be focused very much on that environment, that culture that the company creates. Okay, so that's why we keep on mentioning sustainable environment, sustainable culture, because
Yes. Yes.
this new normal, it's now a requirement that you need to build a sustainable culture. So let's talk about, for you, how do you now build a sustainable culture for an organization? What would
Mm.
you recommend or suggest our viewers who are CEOs and leaders of their organization?
Yes.
I think for
I,
for
I I
for
guess
me,
Ren can start. Yeah.
I think yeah, especially sustainability has been the buzzword lately. And if there's a ruling for most publicly listed companies to publish their sustainability report. I think the key there it shouldn't be a checklist. Maybe they're just doing it just for the sake of complying for that particular like I need to do this because it's required for me. So I think for CEOs or managers right now, you should really embrace what sustainable culture is really about. And like what we have discussed earlier, maybe we need to really to take what we call take a really good look so that yeah we can really take action. So you take strategy, not just basically just following a checklist. So I think that's one good maybe good start for those companies.
Yes, yes, I like that, Ren. Danica, what do you think is what should the company do to have a sustainable culture?
Okay. What we always talk about in MG actually is the only way for you to actually sustain a good life personally is if you know your vision and your mission for every action you take, right? And the same goes if you have an organization. I mean, the organization used to be an individual, and then the individual's vision and mission was shared to a bigger entity, which is the organization, which is really what starts off a good and sustainable culture in the organization. Once that's identified, then that's the time that you can actually find the right people to help you identify that vision and mission. Which brings me actually to the thought, hindi pwedeng lahat ng mga nag apply sa company mo, tanggapin mo. Kasi if they're not the right fit, it's okay if you reject them rather than make them come in and suffer because it's not a sustainable career for them. Find the
Yeah,
right people. Find the people that can help you to your vision so that, they can also have a good career in your organization. One thing, and then a lot of things follow from that, no? Good relationships with the co-workers, with the leaders in the organization, much more opportunities, the company grows. Basically, that is what makes a sustainable culture
Yes.
in the organization. It's a give and take. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So unless of course you're an orphanage, no, that you have to take in everyone. But
Yes.
yes, sustainable culture. Now that's why we're talking about sustainable HR. So we'd like to reiterate your human resource, your talents are resources, meaning you can use them up, they're limited. That's why we need to look for a way to do green HR, sustainable HR, how we would take care of them, how we would maximize, expand, or extend their work life to help contribute to the company. So in return, sustainable HR now allows the company to not only have a sustainable culture, a sustainable strategy, but to really be a sustainable company. No, so I think that's everyone would agree with that. And of course, any parting words, Ren and Danica?
so yeah, we're excited for the upcoming episode. So watch out for our regular for the second Saturday for every month. So we'll be discussing many topics. All right. So see you again on May 8th for the and Danica.
Yes, thank you so much everyone for coming. So thank you for your support in our pilot episode. I know that it's probably a lot to take in, but don't worry,
Yeah.
the next episodes will be bite-sized naman. Per organization naman yung mga i-share namin na insights sa inyo so you could learn more about them and their practices. And see you on the next episode. We're gonna have some guests. Hope you like it. See you there.
Yes, and of course, we will plug in Lucius' channel, which would be airing this April 15 at 8 p.m. on Thursday, starring Kian Kazemi, which entitled Restaurant Business in a Pandemic. So, everyone, stay safe, stay sustainable, sustainable HR on the way.
Yes,
Thank you.